Most people believe their shoulders aren't growing because they are not doing enough. Not enough exercises, not enough sets, not enough intensity, but in reality, most people already train their shoulders often enough. The real issue is that they don't understand what each shoulder exercise is supposed to build. So instead of developing wide, round, impressive shoulders, they end up with shoulders that are strong but visually underwhelming. That's why I want to begin with a movement nearly everyone recognizes, yet very few truly understand: the Arnold press. This exercise is often misunderstood. Some lifters see it as unnecessary, others use it as a light warm-up, and many drop it entirely once they can press heavier weight using simpler movements. But that misses the entire point. The Arnold press was never meant to test maximum strength. It was designed to keep the shoulders under tension for longer periods and force them to work through a fuller range of motion. The rotation itself isn't the magic. What really makes this exercise effective is what the rotation demands: control. Every rep starts from a weaker position. There's no momentum to rely on. You're forced to move smoothly from bottom to top without breaks in tension. The front delts initiate the movement, and as the dumbbells rise and rotate, the side delts are gradually pulled in. There's no moment where the shoulders can relax or shift the work elsewhere. That's why the Arnold press feels harder than it looks. Traditional presses often allow shortcuts. You can shorten the range, bounce the weight, or lock out aggressively and let your joints carry the load. This movement removes those escape routes. The shoulders have to stay engaged from start to finish. Where people go wrong is trying to make this a heavy lift. They rush the rotation, load more weight than they can control, and speed through the hardest portion of the rep. When that happens, tension disappears and momentum takes over. The exercise stops training the shoulders and turns into a fight just to finish the set. When done correctly, the weight feels less important than the movement itself. Each rep is deliberate. The dumbbells move smoothly through space, and the shoulders stay active the entire time. This exercise teaches you what real shoulder tension feels like. Not strain, not grinding, but constant load. And once you understand that feeling, it changes how every other shoulder exercise feels. But pressing alone, no matter how well it's done, isn't enough. Many people assume that getting stronger overhead will automatically give them broader, more impressive shoulders. It won't. Pressing builds mass, but it doesn't create width or shape. That's where lateral raises become essential. Lateral raises are one of the most commonly performed and poorly executed shoulder movements. People rush through them, use weights that are too heavy, and rely on momentum to lift the dumbbells. The traps quickly take over, and the side delts barely get stimulated. The reps still happen, but the shoulders don't change. The side delts have a simple function: moving the arms outward to the side. The moment the arms drift forward, the weight swings, or the traps dominate, the exercise loses its purpose. That's why lateral raises demand patience. The weight should move in a wide arc. The reps should feel controlled, and the hardest part should be near the top, where the side delts are under the most tension. If the first few inches feel hardest, the weight is too heavy. If your neck burns more than your shoulders, something is off. This movement doesn't reward ego. It rewards precision. When done properly, with lighter weight and constant tension, it becomes one of the most effective ways to build visible shoulder width. Now let's talk about the most neglected part of shoulder training, the rear delts. Rear delt flies are often ignored because they don't provide immediate visual feedback. You can't easily see them working, and they don't create a front-facing pump. As a result, people rush through them or skip them entirely, leaving their shoulders looking incomplete. Rear delt flies add depth and balance to the shoulders. They offset all the pressing and front delt work most people already do and play a major role in shoulder health. The biggest mistake here is using too much weight. When the load is excessive, the movement turns into an upper back exercise and the rear delts barely contribute. Rear delts respond best to control. Lighter weight, longer sets, smooth, intentional reps. The burn should be felt in the back of the shoulders, not between the shoulder blades and not in the arms. When trained properly, rear delts don't just improve how your shoulders look, they make every other shoulder movement feel better. Finally, there's the overhead press. This is the foundation of shoulder training and deserves its place, but it's often treated purely as a strength test. People chase numbers, grind through reps, and slam into lockout. That builds strength, but not always visual development. The overhead press builds shoulder mass only when the delts stay under tension. That means controlled reps, strong positioning at the bottom, and avoiding aggressive lockout. The shoulders don't grow at lockout. They grow in the portion of the rep where tension never leaves. When these movements are combined properly, everything starts to make sense. The Arnold press teaches control and tension. The overhead press builds dense muscle. Lateral raises create width. Rear delt flies add balance and depth. Each exercise has a specific role. None of them exist to prove how strong you are. Shoulder growth isn't about destroying your shoulders every workout. It's about training with intent. If you train to move weight, progress will stall. If you train to load the delts, growth follows. Most people don't need more exercises. They need better execution. Because shoulders don't respond to ego. They respond to tension, control, and consistency.